So now you know what the ketogenic or keto diet is, but what do you actually eat on the keto diet? What do you avoid? Eating the right foods is the key to staying in ketosis, burning fat, improving health conditions, and just generally feeling good overall. Keto is not just about eating bacon and butter all day long every day. In fact, if you do that, keto may be a whole lot harder than you realized it was, and you may not be able to sustain it. There's a lot of different camps out there on keto. Do this, don't do that. Only eat meat, only eat fat, eat vegetables, don't eat vegetables. There's so many different theories out there. For this video, I just want to break it down to the most simple and easy to follow plan that I possibly can that's going to work for the most people, in my opinion. It's going to allow you to have a variety in your diet so that it makes it a whole lot easier to maintain and stick to, and you're not going to have the troubles that a lot of people have with traditional diets. Hi, my name is Victor, and I'm a holistic health practitioner and certified nutritional consultant. I am not a doctor or medical professional. I would advise that you consult with your doctor or medical professional. Let them know that you're starting the keto diet, because you may just need to cut down on a lot of your medications once you use this diet to get healthy, and you will need their help to safely taper down some of those. Think of the low-carb lifestyle as just that, a lifestyle, not a diet. A diet is something short-term, and a short-term fix is never a long-term solution. The keto diet is about nourishing your body with the right foods, and the proportions are going to help you succeed along this journey. So I don't want to overcomplicate things. I want to set you up for success, which is what you want and why you want to begin this journey in the first place. And what I'm going to show you is exactly what I did to lose somewhere around 80 to 85 pounds, fix a ton of health conditions, and feel better than I've felt since I was a kid. So come along with me today, and I'm going to show you exactly what to eat so you can succeed on the keto diet. The keto diet in its truest form is a high-fat, moderate protein, and low-carb diet. Eating healthy fats is going to help you feel full longer. It's going to support your brain health, and it's going to help fuel ketosis. If you start on your keto journey and you find that you need to snack between meals, which I do not recommend, that probably means that you're not eating enough fat at your meals in order to sustain you for a few hour period until it's time to eat again. I'm taking a total beginner's approach on this. Let's just assume that you're eating 3 meals a day. We'll get into intermittent fasting and things like that later in this series, but for now, let's say you're going from a standard American diet to a keto diet. What do you eat in order to give you the best chances of seeing results, making sure your body is fully nourished at all times with enough vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats, and that little bit of carbs, which I personally think is important? The first and most important rule in this whole thing is when you start on the keto journey, you want to shop around the outside of the store. You're going to be looking at meats. You're going to be looking at produce, low-carb vegetables, some fruits, some berries. You're going to be looking at healthy fish, healthy meats, poultry. You're going to be looking at dairy products. You're going to be looking at cheeses. And who doesn't like cheeses? You're going to stay out of the middle of the store unless you need to go get a healthy oil like an avocado oil or an olive oil or a coconut oil. That's about the only thing you should be looking at outside the outer perimeter of the store when you first start on keto. Oh, you may need to stop for a healthy salad dressing or something along the way also. But I've got plenty of recipes showing you how to make some good ones shopping around the outside of the store. So that's simple already, right? So since I started talking about fats, let's address the fats first. What are some healthy fats that you can consume on the keto diet? Because remember, it's going to be 70% of your calories, and it's going to be the thing that keeps you full between meals. So it's really an important thing to concentrate on. To start with, let's talk about animal fats. Animal fats are healthy. I've got a whole video on cholesterol that I'll link up there and down in the description if you're worried about cholesterol. I've taken what some of the best doctors have had to say about this and compiled it into a video for you, so check that out later. But animal fats are healthy for you. Things like beef tallow, bacon grease, lard, schmaltz, which is from the chicken, duck fat. Although it's expensive, I don't have any duck fat in my pantry, but hey, you do you. Butter's in that category, and who does not love butter? Outside of the animal fats, you can use avocado oil. You can use a good extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to make a video about how to source olive oil and what to look for to make sure you're getting the real deal. You've got coconut oil, you've got MCT oil. You can use ghee, which is just clarified butter, but you can find it on the aisle with all the other healthy oils and the unhealthy oils. They're all in the same aisle, so you've got to know which ones to pick. The oils you want to avoid are any of your seed oils, your canola, your sunflower, your safflower, your cottonseed, and all the vegetable oils, the corn oils, margarine. Anything that's not on the list that I told you earlier, avoid it. I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but once I get my website up, I'll have a complete list on there of all the foods that you can have and what you want to avoid. Now let's talk about protein. Why is protein important? Protein is going to help you prevent muscle loss. It's going to help rebuild a lot of the building blocks in your body that you need, that you're going to be getting healthy with when starting this keto diet. And remember, the goal should be not so much about losing weight, although that is one of the biggest reasons that people look at the keto diet. One of the more important benefits is getting healthy so you can lose weight. If you start out, you're following the plan exactly, and you're not losing a bunch of weight, that means your body is prioritizing other things other than losing that excess fat. And that's exactly what fat is. Fat is just excess. Fat's excess sugar. It's excess toxins. It's excess hormones that your body holds on to in case it needs it. Once your body knows it doesn't need it anymore, it's free to release it. But your body's going to prioritize what's the most important to it, which is preserving your body. So for example, I had somebody on one of our live shows that had just gotten out of surgery, had a ton of metabolic disorders, and she was greatly overweight and wasn't losing weight. She lost 10 pounds initially, but then it stopped. Well, what stopped was now the body's main function was not to try to rid her body of blood sugar that she had been feeding into her body with all the carbohydrates. Now it was prioritizing healing her body after surgery and healing all the processes within the body. Once that's fixed, then the body can prioritize shedding all that extra fat. And proteins and the amino acids within the proteins are what makes that happen. That's what makes the healing happen. When your body's healthy, it can lose the weight. The proteins should make up about 20% of your total diet. And remember, here we're talking about a balanced keto diet that's going to be the easiest to stick with over time. You may eventually want to up your protein a little bit, adjust your fat. These are tweaks we can work on together. But for now, I want to stay right on the track of what's going to work the best for most people. If you're the type of person that can just eat steaks and salt all day long, you're probably not watching this video anyway, because that's what makes it so hard for a lot of people to stick to, like a carnivore diet, for example. And you may have come from carnivore to watch this video to see what might make it easier for you. So hopefully this helps. So what kind of meats are we talking about here? We're talking about the best meats that you can afford. If you can afford grass-fed beef, there's a slight advantage to that over your conventional beef. It's going to have more of your omega-3 acids. It's going to have more vitamins and minerals in it because, of course, the cows were eating the grass, and that's where they get that from the plants. Now, in recent years, with the soil being as depleted as it is, it's not as much of an advantage as it used to be, but it still has a slight advantage. But eat the best you can afford. The cheapest ground beef you can find in the grocery store is 1,000,000 times better than that box of cereal on the very next aisle. Stay on the outside. So we're talking about beef, poultry. If you can afford the free-range poultry, even better. There's no grass-fed poultry, but there are organic, there's free-range. And in all this, local is always better if you can afford it. You can talk to the farmers and find out exactly what they're giving your protein sources to eat. You can have fatty fish, salmon, that's just how I grew up saying it, mackerel, sardines. Fatty fish is great for you. You can have some organ meats, maybe once a week if you like organ meats. And if not, since we're talking about a balanced keto diet here, it's not nearly as important to worry about the organ meats. So if you don't like them, don't worry. Now let's talk about the vegetables. And since we're shopping on the outside of the store, one reason that I want you to avoid some of the processed keto foods, even if it says keto certified, keto approved, there's all kind of little marketing terms they put on there now. But the way they achieve these keto terms is by adding fiber to it, which is not going to work as well for most people as vegetables and the fibers from vegetables. For some people it does, for a lot of people it doesn't. So we're going to keep away from the processed foods until we're far enough along in our keto journey to where you're on maintenance or where you're almost to maintenance phase. Then I'd recommend adding some in if it helps to make things faster for you. but it's always better to eat the way that I'm telling you right now. So vegetables provide fiber, they provide minerals and vitamins, and always better to buy the best you can get. If you can afford organic, get organic. If not, the cheapest vegetables you can find in the store are much better than the processed crap that you've been eating before. And since the fiber is inside the vegetables itself, non-starchy vegetables will barely affect your blood sugar at all. Once you go adding fiber into products, there's just no telling what could happen. It may do nothing, or it may spike your blood sugar beyond belief. So what are the best vegetables to eat on the keto diet? Well, number one for me would be leafy greens, things like spring mix, spinach, kale. And I would recommend when you first start, find one of my salad dressing recipes that you like, or find a good one in the stores that doesn't have seed oils in it. Make sure you read the package, and another video is coming about packaging. But eat at least 2 or 3 good handfuls of that. I would recommend eating your proteins and fats first, just to make sure that you get those in, because that's the most important. And after that, finish it up with a salad. It's going to fill you up even more. You're going to get the benefits of all the vitamins and minerals that are in the vegetables that are not found in meat and fat. And there's a lot of them. More about that in a later video. You can do romaine lettuce. You can do arugula, dandelion greens. Dandelion greens are especially good because they're a bitter, which helps your digestive function and helps your liver. And your liver plays a big part in the keto diet. Swiss chard, beet greens. There's a ton of greens out there. Collard greens, turnip greens. The greens go on and on. A lot of these vegetables are going to help support your immune system, bone health. There's just a ton of benefits to these. And remember, only 10% of your calories are going to come from these foods. But there's not very many calories in these either. So you can eat a lot more of them to help you get full, get all of that vitamin and mineral content out of them without going over your calorie range. Dr. Berg suggests 7 cups of salad a day. Now, I wouldn't recommend going to that extreme unless you really love salads. But hey, if you can get up to 7 cups a day, fantastic, even better. If you can't, do as much as you can do. Anything is going to be better than what you were doing before, most likely. You're going to be looking at cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. These foods are packed with antioxidants and fiber that help with inflammation. You can eat low-carb, nutrient-dense vegetables, zucchini, cucumbers, bell peppers, asparagus, mushrooms, one of the untold superfoods. Mushrooms are so great for a variety of things. Green beans. Those are the ones I'd recommend to start with. But if you have any questions about any, please leave me a comment down there and I'll be glad to let you know my thoughts on them. You can also have fermented vegetables, kimchi, sauerkraut. Of course, yogurt's fermented, but it's not a vegetable, so we'll leave it out. Yogurt was in another category. But your fermented foods promote your gut health, digestion, because they have probiotics in them. Natural probiotics. You don't have to take a pill to get those. Although if you don't eat any fermented foods, a probiotic might not be a bad idea for some people, depending on your situation. A future video, I'll talk about supplements, vitamins, and minerals. You can even have sea vegetables like seaweed, nori, kelp, which is rich in iodine. Most people are iodine deficient. The Japanese are one of the few cultures that are not deficient in iodine, and that's because they eat so many foods from the sea, just like these. Some of the essential nutrients you can get from vegetables are things like vitamin C. And no, you're not going to get scurvy if you don't get enough vitamin C, most likely. But a lot of the issues that I see people talking about, mostly on a meat-heavy diet, could be corrected with some vitamin C. Vitamin C is really important for immune function, skin health, and a variety of other things. So I would definitely get it in. Your kale and your spinach are going to have vitamin K1, which is essential even if you're out in the sun all day long. Vitamin D is helped along by vitamin K. I see a lot of people taking vitamin D and vitamin K supplements that, if they just added some good leafy greens into their diet, probably wouldn't have to spring for the pills. And vitamin K also helps with blood clotting, so it's a really important thing that you're going to need to have. Your vegetables also contain folate, vitamin B9. You need it for DNA synthesis and repair. It's in a lot of vegetables like asparagus, Brussels sprouts, and a lot of those cruciferous vegetables. If you're eating beef liver every day, which I would not recommend because of the excess iron in it, among other things, you'll get a good amount of folate. Other than that, you're going to need to have some additional sources from plants. And then, of course, we've got fiber. Fiber is one of the big things in vegetables. And I'm spending a lot of time on vegetables, even though it's only 10% of your total amount of calories. but that's because it's so crucial that you have some. And of course, the vegetables are going to contain fiber. Fiber is going to support your digestive health. It's going to help you maintain steady blood sugar levels. And the only place you're going to find fiber is in vegetables. There's no fiber in meat. There's no fiber in fat. So this is the one place you can get it. So fiber plays a big role in digestion, gut health, and helping to suppress your appetite because it fills you up more. It helps feed a lot of beneficial gut bacteria, helps prevent constipation. Some people have a hard time with fiber, but for the most part, it is not the fiber in vegetables that they're having a problem with. So I would recommend counting net carbs from any of these vegetables. I'm sure there'll be people in the comments talking about oxalates. I've made an entire video about that. There's a very tiny percentage of the population that could have problems with it, including people with kidney disease, predispositions to kidney stones and things like that. 99.9% of you will not have to worry about that whatsoever, as long as you're getting a balanced diet. Throw a little bit of cheese on your salad and you got it beat right there. And then let's touch on dairy. Most dairy contains both fats and proteins, so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds in one thing. So the best options for dairy on the keto diet, number one, full fat cheeses. Cheddar cheese, brie, blue cheese. You can have the full fat heavy whipping cream. Just be aware that most heavy creams do have a little bit of carbs in them, even though the label is most likely going to read 0 carbs. It is going to have a little, so just figure a gram for your serving size. You really want to avoid low-fat dairy, although I use some in some of my recipes for a very specific reason, to up the protein and just make the recipes work right, but you mostly want to avoid them. And if you look at the sugar content on some of those, you'll see why. Nuts and seeds are a great thing on the keto diet as well, particularly for women, and more specifically older women. Flax seeds and pumpkin seeds for women are amazing to support estrogen and progesterone. The downside to the nuts and seeds are they're super easy to overeat. So you really got to pay attention to your serving size on those and don't go crazy with them. You can gain weight on keto by overeating stuff like that. So macadamia nuts, pecans, almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, hemp hearts. All those things are great additions to the keto diet. And then the fruits, the sweet part of the whole equation. Fruits are the things to be most careful about on keto because most fruits are not keto friendly, mainly because of the portion size. Technically, you could have just about any fruit, and if the portion size is low enough, it would technically be keto. But are you going to have a bite of an apple, or are you going to have the whole apple? Exactly. So for fruits, I would recommend berries. Strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, elderberries. Some berries I don't even know about probably. You can have lemons, you can have limes, you can have olives, avocado. Avocado is one of the great superfoods, by the way, and it is considered a fruit, so that's why I lumped it in here instead of in the fat category. But it contains a ton of fat and not much sugar, so there you go. You want to avoid high sugar fruits, bananas, apples, mangoes, grapes. All those have a huge amount of sugar in them. And there's some other fruits that later you might include inside your keto diet once you fixed a lot of those things, but the key is simplicity. If you want to succeed on this, make it simple, hit that outside aisle, and it makes it a lot easier. We've got all the foods covered. Now, what do you drink? Well, number one, water. You can have black coffee or coffee with a little bit of heavy cream and maybe a keto-friendly sweetener if you're just starting out. The keto sweeteners I would recommend are number one, allulose, erythritol, stevia, monk fruit. Those would be my top 4, with allulose being the best because of studies done that show it will actually reduce blood sugar. It's just not quite as sweet as sugar, so it's not quite a one-to-one replacement. I make my own keto blend of sweeteners that I've got a video for I'll link for you. But I'll do one in the future too on how I blend allulose and stevia together to make a perfect one-to-one replacement for you if you want to use that. You can have herbal teas, you can have bone broth, sparkling water with no sugar, of course. And then you're going to want to have your electrolytes. Electrolytes are going to help support your keto diet, and even with all the vegetables, the healthy fats, and the proteins, you're going to be deficient in sodium, magnesium, and potassium. You really won't get enough of any of those except for maybe sodium on any kind of diet. You can definitely get enough sodium on the standard American diet, but along with the standard American diet comes all the other problems of the standard American diet, which is probably why you're here right now. At least that's why I'm here right now. So you want to avoid soda, fruit juice, which is super high in sugar, your sports drinks like Gatorades. And of course, you've got salty electrolyte packets where I have a discount code down in the description for you just to make it easier on the go. When I'm on the go, that's what I use. When I'm not, I make my own which I'll link the recipe to up above and down the description. And while you can technically have zero carb alcohols, I would do everything I could to avoid them, especially if you want to jumpstart your success. If you saw my previous video, you know about oxidative priority and the fact that alcohol has to be gotten out of the body first before it can tap into burning any food or any stored body fat. So best to leave that off for best results. So now you know what to eat, but how much of it do you eat? Should you count carbs? Should you count calories? Should you listen to your body? That's what we're going to cover in the next video. Please consider sharing this with somebody you think it might help. I hope it's helped you, and please leave any questions that you might have down in the comments. I'm here to help you. This is absolutely the easiest way to have success on keto, to heal some of the conditions that may be affecting you, and just to improve your overall health, one forkful at a time. Every forkful you put in your mouth is a conscious decision, so make sure it's the right one, and we'll get just a little bit deeper in the next episode. One final note, start slow. I'm going to put a link to a video right over here about that very thing, and some tips that I have for you to succeed on the keto diet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you right over there.